everybody at home. Welcome to Game 2 with Montgomery Ice Devils. Again, looks like I'm having sparse internet connectivity, so I do apologize. The result of the first game, 6-4. Heading into the second game. Alright, looks like starting out, first line, Krecker and Wright on defense, with Cusa, Peruto, and Braden Fisher on the first offensive line. And Justin Adams in net. We're all set. Puck's dropped. Devils come away with it. Justin ushers the puck to the corner, sticks here, comes around opposite side over to Blake. Blake, Krecker, sends out to the neutral zone. Ice Devils gather, try to send it forward, back over. Ricky sends it opposite side, back over to Blake. Blake into the Peruto to the neutral zone. Clears it back and sends it deep. Devils back behind the net. Cycle it back to the other side. Wait to see. Hold up. Send it into the neutral zone. Picked up at the center ice. Tap forward. Line change for the Ice Devils. Picked up by Heath. Got Fisher ahead of him. And no icing called on that one. Lucas on the ice with Zimmerman and Nichols. Offsides coming. Nichols on the faceoff. The puck's dropped. Sent over to the opposite side. Devils send it up. Now it's back into the neutral zone. That goes out of play. Puck down, Lucas picks it up. Got four guys in front of him. Gets out to the outside, sends it deep. Nichols back battling along the boards. Lucas picks it up, looking. Got Kobe sitting in the slot. Picked up by a defender. And they send it on net, and Justin steers it into the protective netting behind the net. Barthol, Heston, DeFrugio. Puck stop, back over, sent long. DeFrugio in a foot race on the forecheck. DeFrugio, back over. Devils try to center it. DeFrugio picks it up, now makes its way out to the neutral zone. Send it deep, goaltender kicks it out to the sidewall. Picked up by Heston. Heston back into the corner. Pressure onto the puck. Back into the corner. DeFrugio over to help out. Clears the zone. Back over to Thies. Thies back over to Bots. Bots sends it in. Delayed offside. Picked up by the Devils. Line change for Team Philadelphia. Oh, picked up turnover. Sent right to Lucas with a shot on net. Try to center it back over. Fisher onto the ice. Centering pass. Goes wide. Collins over to retrieve it. Gets by. No icing. Set all the way down the ice. Justin knocks it down. Picked up by Ricky. Ricky sends it all on the ice. Back over. Tap forward. Devils knock it down. Doherty over to help. Long pass. Outstrike the arms. Justin kicks it over to Ricky in the corner. Ricky gets tangled up. Tobin. Centering pass. Gets out. Makes its way back into the neutral zone. Devils regroup. Pull it back. Opposite side. Send it long. Tip forward. 2-on-1 opportunity. Kick back Lucas. Good knockdown by Justin. I think that was a hand pass, maybe? Yep, hand pass. Pucks down, back over. Knocked forward into the corner. Devils retrieve, centering pass, opposite side. Had a guy coming up the slot. Broken stick. That's painful. Comes up. Tobin. Feeds it to Cusa. Back over to Tobin. Tobin in the corner looking. Back over to Fisher. Fisher on the opposite side. Cusa in pursuit. Knocked down by Perudo. Perudo loses it. Devils into the neutral zone. Send it all the way back. Hits a stick. Tobin's there, clears it back up the ice, center, cleared back into the neutral zone, Devils on the opposite side. Try to get a shot off, knocked down into the corner. Shot attempt goes wide, picked up by the point, knocked back down, Perudo gets it. He's got Cusa with him, he's got 3 other Devils with him as well too. Centering pass over to Cusa, Cusa's unable to ward off a defender. Penalty coming up. So it looks like an interference call on Montgomery. So Team Philly will be on a power play opportunity at the 12:29 mark. Nichols, Fisher, Zimmerman, Doherty, and Mott out on the ice. First game, this line did pretty well. Fisher on the face-off, gets it over to Lucas. Lucas holds it, looks, opposite. Back over to Fisher. Fisher by himself, got Zimmerman. Right cross center ice. Picked up by Doherty. Doherty releases back over to Fisher. Fisher centering pass. Picked up by Lucas. Lucas could not hold him off. Now captured by Nichols all the way back. Nichols, wait. Lucas charge forward. Comes back. Comes through. Gets a shot off. And cycles it back the opposite side. Fisher over. Doherty with him. Can't see because of the referee. Picked up by Doherty. Back out to the point to Nichols. Back over to Lucas. Try to get a shot off. Goes off a defender's shin pads. Sends it all the way down. Doherty, Mott coming in. Lucas charging. Gets around a defender, skates by, picks back up. Gets a shot off. Fisher and Doherty tied up together, back over Doherty. Gets a shot. And then goes out of play. Almost hit the spectator. Into the trash can. What a shot. .40 left on the power play for Team Philadelphia. Braden Fisher on the faceoff with Cusa, Krecker, Peruto. Back over, out to the point to Cusa. Cusa looking, opposite side over to Blake. Blake gets a shot off, opposite side rebound, good shot. Picked back up at the point by Cusa. Over to Blake. Circle back over to Fisher. Fisher cycles it back out to Blake. Krecker, Fisher. Try to get a shot off. Blake keeps it in. And a glove down on it. 9 seconds left. Devils control, send it back into neutral ice, picked up by Blake. Blake sent it over to opposite side to Ricky. Ricky taps forward. Goaltender shovels it to the side, even strength. Come up the ice, into the neutral zone. Cusa keeps it from leaving the neutral zone. Turnover, Peruto's with it. Peruto tried to get it on his backside, unable to do so. Looks, sends it out to the point. Back out to Krecker. Krecker takes a shot, goes way high over the goaltender's head. Sent all the way deep, back over to Ricky. Ricky tries to clear the zones, unable to do so. It's sent back into the corner. Setting pass. Nice kick save by Justin. Hit it first time, then kick save on the opposite side. Picked up, now make it way out of the zone. Good job by Peruto. Tries to send it forward. Doesn't make it. Now back into the neutral zone. Sent deep. Sent all the way back, picked up by Ricky. Ricky fakes the defender out. Looks. All the way back up to Zimmerman. Zimmerman sends it in. All the way deep back into the corner. Devils get to it. Nichols with him. Held up by Lucas. Sent it out to the point. Back over at opposite side. East does a good job of keeping it in. Holds the zone. Sent back over. Nichols drops it in. Lucas back in the corner. The defender up against the wall. Picks it up. Cycles it back over to Zimmerman. Back out to Bops. Bops tried to get a shot off. Goes just wide. Back along the board. Cheese looks to drop it in. Hold it in his own. Does. Good job keeping it in. Sent back to the other side. And that should be an icing call. Barthel, Heston, DeFrugio, Thies, Bobst. Waiting on Justin, fixing a glove. Puck's down. Sent to the corner, Devils pick it up. Look to try to clear the zone. Barthel's over to help him out. Thies keeps it in, sends it to the corner. Devils pick it up. Try to cycle it back. Barthel giving defender a little grief. Breakout by the Devils, come across the blue line. Sarko pass out front. Justin shuffles it into the corner. Picked up by Thies. Thies looking. Tries to clear a defender. Intercepted by Bots, get it out of the zone. Picked back up by Bots after going off of Heston. Bots tries to get a shot off and goes off a defender stick high into the rafters. Lucas on the faceoff. Back into the corner. Lucas picks it up. Doherty's over just underneath of his stick, unable to control. Back over, centering pass. Pick back up. Lucas grabs it, sends it over. Picks up his own pass, looks for an opportunity. Tries centering pass. Tried a backhand pass. Goes off the backside of the net. Picked up by Ricky. Ricky holds ground. Pulls it back, tries to get around defender, wards off a guy, comes back up, hits Lucas coming across ice, gets a shot off, goes wide, back over to Fisher. Fisher centering pass. Nice pass sitting right there. Wow. 2 golden opportunities. Fisher, Cusa, Peruto. Pucks down, makes its way out of the neutral zone. Ricky's on the back check, picks it up, sends it all the way back, looking, sends it up over to Cusa. Cusa dumps it in, back over to Peruto. Peruto tries to make its way through, splits a couple defenders, and able to get to the puck. Devils lock on the brakes, circle around to the other side. Devils centering pass intercepted by Fisher. Fisher gets it on strong side. Nice glove save by the goaltender. Cusa, right, Peruto, Fisher, Tobin. Picked up by the Devils. Peruto back over. Devils forward it into the neutral zone, picked back up. Sent deep. Ricky on the back check, cycles back over. Gets around the defender, held up, waits. Cycles back over, looks. Try to clear it back out. Cusa gets his own puck after being hit by a defender. Pick back up, sent into the corner. Cusa. Centering pass. Oh my gosh, right there. Puck got a piece, so Fisher couldn't get on it. Now it's back in the neutral zone. Peruto sends it back. Fisher gets to it. Fisher looking, hops aside. Picked up by Peruto. Good passing. Sent deep. Rims it all the way around the opposite side. Picked up by Tobin. Tobin. Sent back up. No icing. Picked up by Lucas before it leaves the zone. Devils come across. Opposite side, Thies. Lucas comes forward, looking. Oh, try to hit Nichols on the opposite side. Knocked down by Justin. Thies, back over to Nichols. Back over to Lucas. Lucas, backhand pass, opposite side. Try to center it. Cleared the zone, now back on the other side. Zimmerman over against the glass with the puck. Nichols is over there to help him. Zimmerman looks to get it. Centering pass goes off a defender's stick. Back out to Thies at the point. Thies gets a shot off. Drop back down, picked up by Team Philly. Lucas centers it back over to Blake. Cycles it over to Thies. Thies back over to Nichols. Nichols works around, gets a shot off, goes off the lower side of the net, still in the corner, picked back up, makes it all the way out to the neutral zone, Tobin. And that goes off the stanchion. Center ice face-off. .411. Still 0-0. Barthol on the face-off. Heston over with him. Knocked back down. Sent forward. All the way to the opposite corner. Picked up by Bops. Bops tries to clear the zone. Rolls up the sleeve of Team Philly. Still in the zone. Picked up by Luca. Luca back over to Heston. Heston try to make a move around. Unable to do so. Devils clear it back out, just outside the reach of Anthony. Kept out of the zone. Good job by Tobin. Picked up. Nice save by Justin. Barthol, Heston, DeFrugio. Bops. Puck down, back into the corner. Tobin back over to fight for it. Still in the corner. Devils try to come away and pull it out. Barthol's there. Still in the corner, fighting for it. Given out into the slot, picked up by Jake. Jake gets it over the opposite side, over to Luca. Luca gets a shot off, rolls up the goaltender's sleeve and goes just on the outside. And that'll be an icing call. Doherty, Mott, Fisher. Tobin and Bops. Puck is down, back out. Fisher sends it over. Doherty. Back out to Bops. Bops. And goaltender gloves it down. Puck's down, back out to Fisher. Fisher knocks it into the corner, picks it up himself. Looking for a little bit of help. Devils cycle it back opposite side, picked up by Doherty. Doherty with an opportunity, gets a shot off. Couple good shots, back over to Tobin. Tobin kicks it in. Sent all the way back. Good check by Team Philadelphia. Tobin charges up. Back over to Doherty. Loses it over to a Devils defender. Center ice. Out on the wing. Knocks down. Good job by Blake. Blake handles it. Comes up. Back over to Fisher. Fisher gets it back up to Doherty. Doherty. Back over to Lucas. Gets a shot off and goes high. Back out to the point to Blake. Blake tried to get a shot off. Picks back up in the slot. Fisher draws it back over into the boards. Cycled around the other side. Blake going up, charging, keeps it in, sends it deep again. Lucas back over, tries to pull it forward to him. Devils send it to the opposite wall. Come across blue line. Looking for a little bit of help. Devils make a move around. Justin with a nice save. I think that went off his beat. 1:18 left in the first period, nothing. Shot, redirect, goes wide. 1:08. Back over to the opposite side. Fisher over to help. Cycle back. Shot, goes wide again. This line has been out for a while. Sent all the way down, that will be an icing play. Good kill for Team Philadelphia. Get fresh legs out on the ice. Straight in, face off, drop down, back into the corner. Bops kicks it back over. Feast over to help him out. Double kick to get it. Out of the zone. Picked up by Peruto. Peruto tries to make a move. Tries to get around the guy. Gets tackled. Shot attempt goes wide. Attempt by Bops to keep it in, but is unable to. Kills off the offsides. Back out. Peruto. Shot back down. Feast. Picked back up by Cusa. Cusa sends it out to the neutral zone. Devils get it. Pass it forward back into the zone. Back over to Bops. Bops 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that'll end the first period 0-0 after 1. All right, looks like we're all set for the beginning of the second period, 0-0 against Montgomery for the second game of the day. First line, Doherty, Fisher, Mott, Wright, and Krecker with Justin manning the pipes still. It looks like we're all set. Referee drops the puck. Back over. One back by Blake. Goes back into Fisher. Opposite side pass. Try to get it in the neutral zone. They do. To come over the blue line. That's an offsides. Double swim it back, send it into the zone, picked up by Ricky. Ricky works the other side, back up to Doherty. Doherty puts a stick down and it makes its way into the penalty box. Puck's down, back over, underneath feet, still arguing for it. Back out to the point and clears the zone. Devils look to work it. Make it in the zone. Put it forward, opposite side. Nice save by Justin. Got lucky. Sent back over to Doherty. Doherty picked up by Lucas. Lucas comes across. Try to get a shot off. Goes off a defender's shin guard. Goes all the way back. Picked up by Krecker. Krecker back over to Lucas. Lucas centers it back opposite side over to Fisher. Fisher tries to swipe at it. Push it forward. Unable to do so. Picked up by Devils. Send it out to the wing. Cross ice path. Picked up by Lucas. Kemp. Devils come across. Send it on net. Goes wide. Centering pass gets over to Lucas. Lucas can't control. Gets knocked off the puck. Blake tries to send it forward. Picked up. Lucas dumps it in. Devils. That should be an icing call. .15:07. Second period 0-0. Barthol. Face down, back over to Frugio, back out to the point. Bob sends it deep, back along the walls. Devils cycle it, center, back over. Picked up by Thies. Jake sends it deep. Goaltender shuffles it over to the corner. Try to clear the zone, picked up by Barthol. Sent deep, centering pass. Picked up by the Devils. Devils send it into the neutral zone, back over to Bops. Bops clears it out into the zone. Luca sends it forward, back over to Bops. Bops opposite side over to Thies. Thies tap forward. Not going to be an icing. Pick back up. Luca. Jake over to help him out. Bops thought about charging forward. Holds the blue line. Back check. Guy gets around. Puck's there. Justin with really nice save. Knocks it down twice. Zimmerman, Nichols, Mott. Back into the corner, picked up by Tobin. Tobin's looking. Sends it back up. It's got Zimmerman. Zimmerman back into the neutral zone. Devils pick it up. Center it. Comes across. Pick back up. Nichols tries to pass it forward. Knocked down by Tobin. Good knockdown by Justin. Back into the neutral zone. Devils cycle it to the other side. 13:37. Devils try to send it opposite side. Now it makes its way in the neutral zone. Devils come up on the wing. Send it to the opposite corner. Pick back up. Shuffled down. Back behind the net. Picked up by Ricky. Ricky sent it over to the opposite side over to Nichols. Nichols. Back over to Ricky. Ricky. Back over to Zimmerman. Zimmerman holds up. Tabs it forward. It's going to be a high stick. So come all the way down. Fisher, Prudo, Cusa, Krecker, Thies. Back down. Ooh, shot attempt by Cusa goes wide. Goaltender caught off guard. Back over to Krecker. Krecker sends it over to the opposite corner. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher gets it. Tries centering pass. Cusa sends it back or behind the net. picked up by Perudo. Perudo pinned up against the board. Knocked into the referee, try to get by. Thies sends it down. Back over to Perudo, center pass. Gets a shot off. Scored! Fisher with the pickup, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think Fisher got a shot off it, rebounded back. The goaltender came out, and I think he got a shot off of the goaltender's backside to put it in the goal at the 12:24 mark to put Team Philadelphia up 1-0. So Braden Fisher on the board. Puck's down, sent forward. Fisher charging, reaching for it, unable to do so. Devils come across into the neutral zone, picked up by Cusa. Cusa tried to dodge a defender. Back out in the neutral zone. Good job by Perudo, couldn't control. Makes its way all the way back to the defensive zone. Thies picks it up, sends it back up, try to clear the zone. Picked up by the Devils, knocked back down by Thies. Sent back over, top, picked back up by Cusa. Cusa comes down, waits. Oh, try to get a centering pass opposite side, gets tangled up. Turnover and center ice. All the way down, no offsides. Picked up by Trekker. Trekker loses it to a defender, comes back out center ice. Lucas there to put a little pressure onto the puck. Back over the opposite side. Montgomery changes lines. Back over, picked up by Doherty. Doherty got Perudo with him. Picked up by Lucas. Lucas couldn't quite get it. I think he saw Perudo on the opposite side. One-on-one with the goaltender. Nice defensive stance. Wow, great defense by, I believe that was Tobin. Tobin with a great back check on that to help Justin out. Puck's down, back along the boards. Devils send it on net that goes wide, back along. Fisher over to help out. Still back in the corner. Lucas gets it, centers opposite side, back over to Colin, clears his own, tips it up. Lucas charging forward. Almost had it. Devils back into the corner. Sent back to the other side, Tobin. Back over to Lucas. Lucas centers it. Goaltender shuffles it to the corner, back over to Lucas. Lucas dropped it down. That'll be at high stick. It definitely was high stick. That'll come all the way down into Team Philly's defensive zone. One nothing. 10:19 left, second period. Heston, DeFruzio. Tobin out on the ice. Tobin back over, cycles out to side over to Bops. Bops picks it clean, looking. Tries to clear it back up. Now gets it. Almost clears it out, not quite. Still in. Now it's out. Barthol sends it in. Devils pick it up, the opposite side. Back over to Bops. Bops clears it back into the neutral zone. Picked up by DeFruzio. DeFruzio gets it. Sends it deep. Bops gets a shot off. Goaltender gloves it, drops it. Sent back to the other side. Barthol gets it. Looking. Centering pass. Had Jake on the opposite side. Couldn't connect with him. Picked back up. Picked up by Tobin. Tobin pushes forward. Back out. Drives it himself. Goes all the way around. Looking for a little assistance. Tries to center it back. Gets knocked off his skates. Back along into the corner. Picked back up by Bops. Bops. Opposite side. Over to Zimmerman on the other side. Drops it in. Defensive line change. Krecker back out on the ice. Wow, nice feed to Zimmerman in the slot. Unable to capitalize. Defender stick in the way. Back over. And that will be an icing. Clock attendees not doing his job very well. 9:16. Puck down. Puck's back over to Krecker. Krecker gets a shot off, and that goes into the protective webbing. Devils run it back into the corner, send it up the boards. Ricky does a good job holding the zone. Come across the blue line, Devils pick it up, center to the opposite side, picked up by Kobe. Kobe drops it back just outside of Lucas's reach. Picked back up, swung all the way around. Blake against the boards. Nichols is over with him. Center it's back, opposite side, just outside of Ricky's reach. Ricky swipes at it, comes back to him, picked back up, back over to Kobe. Kobe, opposite side, picked up. Shot attempt goes high and wide. Back over to Ricky. Ricky drops, turns, back over to Kobe. Tried to get it, center pass, all the way down. Back out to Kobe, sitting at center ice. Back over, got Lucas on the opposite side. Nice pass to Nichols in the slot. Nichols couldn't capitalize, good save by the goaltender. Nichols over there to help out. Peruto out on the ice, Peruto looking to assist. Fisher out on the ice, Braden that is. Picked up, Devils pick it up, Peruto gets it, centers back over to Krecker. Krecker sends it forward. Clean zone, 7:38 left in the second period. Back over to Fisher. Fisher looking, centering pass, jumps the stick of Cusa in the slot. Back over to Krecker. Krecker, back over to Peruto. Peruto loses it off his stick. Cusa's there, now it gets back on Cusa's stick, now it's back off. Krecker in the back check. Good knockout by Bops to get it out of the zone. Sent all the way deep. Justin to knock it back. Picked up by Bops. Bops sends it up the wall. Picked up on the sides by the Devils. Devils coming back with it. Send it out to the point. Send it over to the opposite side. Fisher's over. Devils send it towards the net. Goes back around. Justin tried to take a swipe at it. Misses it. Peruto back over. Peruto comes across. Nice centering pass to Cusa. Cusa got his stick tangled. Say that too many times. Back over to Bobst. Bobst back in the neutral zone. Montgomery has to clear the zone. They do. Doherty sends it forward. Lucas on the opposite side, forecheck. Lucas picks it up. Cycles it back opposite side. Doherty's there, had it between his skates. And that goes into the protective webbing. So at the 5:57 mark, still 1-0, Team Philadelphia. Puck's down. Back over. Fisher tried to get to it. Pops. Sends it in. Team Philly's got to clear the line. They do clear the zone. Now it's back up. Sent forward. All the way back. Justin shuffles it to Thies. Thies back up over to Bops. Bops along the board. Team Philly sends it out. Doherty. Referee held up his arm for a split second. Back over to Thies. Thies back over to Lucas. Lucas tried to clear the zone. Gets it away. 3-on-2 opportunity if they can get onto it. Back over. Fisher splits the zone. Opposite side. Puck was just floating right there. Good defensive. Try to clear the zone. Thies. Send to opposite side. Justin shuffles it to the other side. Back over to Thies. Thies tried to clear it. Montgomery. Devils back along the boards. Lucas gets it. Cleared it back over to Doherty. Doherty tried to get to it. Now he does. Back over to the other side. Back over to Fisher. Fisher taps it forward. Lucas is back over. And that's an offsides. Luca, Barthel, Jake. Devils win it back. Send it back into their neutral zone, clears it. Look to gain the zone. They do gain the zone. And Justin with a wicked flash to the leather. Back into the corner, sent to the other side. Ricky there, Luca taps it forward. Montgomery sends it back. Justin tried to stop it, picked up by Ricky. Ricky gets pinned up against the wall. Kick back out. Jake's looking for it, cannot see it. Wow, good job by Justin. Caught it, dropped it in front of him. Nichols, Zimmerman, Mott, Wright, and Tobin. Puck's back, Ricky over, tries to knock it back down, just outside the reach. Now it's kicked back up over to Lucas. Lucas picks it back over to Zimmerman. Zimmerman to Lucas. Lucas centers it, looking for somebody in front of the net. Nobody was there. Devils come back down, send it back over Ricky's head, back into the corner. Ricky on the back check. Pick back up over the opposite side, over to Tobin. Tobin gets it out in the zone. Picked up by Lucas. Lucas. And that'll be a penalty coming up. And that's going to be a hook. Lucas, nice little sneak there. Tried to just tap it through the 5-hole. 3:25 mark. Devils will be down a man. Team Philadelphia will be on a power play. Fisher, Zimmerman, Mott, Nichols, Doherty. Puck's down, back over to Nichols. Nichols at the point. Opposite side, back over to Collin. Collin. Fisher. Centering pass. Glove saved by the goaltender. Puck's back out over to Nichols. Nichols over to Doherty. Moves his way out of traffic. Centering pass over to Zimmerman. Try Try to clear the zone. Nichols gets a shot off. No traffic in front of the goaltender. Simply puts a glove on it. Fisher. Back out, over to Doherty. Doherty holds it up. Over to Fisher. Doherty. Fisher. Tomat. Social pass over to Nichols. Back out to Nichols. Over to Fisher, just outside of his reach. Picked up by Lucas. Lucas sends it to himself. Back over. Drops it back over to Nichols. Nichols back over to Kobe. Kobe. Got 3-on-2. Centering pass. 2-on-1 opportunity. Nichols on the back check. There's a penalty on. All right, so penalty on Kobe. So it would be 4-on-4 for the next 34 seconds. For interference was the call. Trekker, Fisher, Wright, and Barthel out on the ice. Picked back up by Ricky. Ricky sends it back over to Barthel. Barthel looking. Sends it in, makes his way around a man. It's on his opposite side forecheck, picks it back up himself, looks for a little bit of help just outside of his reach. It's tagged into the wall, 17 seconds left on the Devils penalty. Come across center ice, pick it up. Ricky's there. Back over Blake, pressure into the corner. Now it's a penalty kill for Team Philadelphia as Montgomery adds a man. Sends it over to the opposite side. Fisher, a little bit of help. Opposite side again. Justin, a good knockdown. Pick back up into the point. Justin, somehow on his belly, gets it knocked down. Ricky into the corner fighting for the puck. Sent back out to the point by the Devils. Back over to the wing. Blake, opposite side. I think that penalty is going to be on Barthel. They're going to be down 2 men with 36 seconds left. We'll double check and see. All right, so Team Philadelphia will be down 2 men with 37 seconds left on the first penalty. Trekker, Nichols, and Ricky out on the ice. Puck's dropped, back over, into the corner, now back out to the point. Nichols, sent over to the opposite side. Justin with a nice save. Trekker back over, pressure onto the puck. Trekker gets it. Try to push it outside the zone. 20 seconds. So 42 White, I believe, or 14 White with a slash. Broke Blake's stick. That isn't evidence enough. So 4 and 3 for the next 15 seconds. Bobst, right, Nichols. Puck's down, 11 seconds left in the period. Comes across blue line, sends it over to the opposite side. Pick back up, drop back down, back over to Nichols, and that will do it. So at the end of 2, Team Philly's up 1-0.
I told Dad I was going to pick that up, boil it, and put it in my bag for the next person and forget to put it out there.
All right, well, happier than last time.
It's not perfect, but 4 and 3 for the next 2 seconds, not 8. Center ice face-off, third period, 1-0 Team Philadelphia. Ricky Bobst and Braden Fisher. Puck's down, back over, opposite side, man on. Now it's 4 on 4. Bobst with a good check, picked up. Sent back over to Cusa. Cusa couldn't control the puck. Draws it back in his own zone. Tries to clear it back up. Now it's picked up by Fisher. Fisher's one-on-one with him. Now it's got a couple guys with him. Try to make him move around. It's unable to do so. Picked back up by Ricky. Ricky. Try to get it over to Cusa. Fisher's there, put pressure on, Cusa back over, swipes at it, knocks it back over. Fisher drops it in over to Cusa. Cusa couldn't control it, just beyond his reach, sent back over to the opposite side. 28 seconds left on the penalty by Team Philadelphia. Sent back over to the opposite side, back out to the point. Justin calmly grabs it and holds it down. So about 23 seconds between penalties. Lucas, Thies, Nichols, and Krecker. Puck stop, back over to the point. Shot goes wide, back over. Kick saved by Justin, picked up by Lucas. 2-1, power play opportunity for Team Philadelphia. Lucas trying to fight his way through a couple defenders. How about a little bit of a hold? Sent back up, goes long. Justin drops it back over to Thies. 7 seconds left on Team Philadelphia's power play. Back over to the opposite side, back over to Thies. Lucas knocks it away. Gets a shot off, knocks it right in front of the goaltender. Pucks down into the corner. Devils pick it up. Try to centering pass. Come across the blue line. Devils pick it up. Knocked down into the corner by Thies. Picked back up by Kobe. Kobe centers it back down over to Lucas. Lucas taps it forward back over to Nichols. Nichols gets a shot on goal. Goalie steers it to the corner. Holy cow, that's going to be a penalty coming up. Wow. Hopefully Aiden's okay. I think he got back up again, but let's see what the call is on that. That's going to be a 2-10 for a boarding call. The 14:31 mark. So Team Philadelphia will be on a power play opportunity. Cusa, Bruto, Fisher, Krecker, Wright out on the ice. Pick back up. Fisher simply kicks it forward, back over to Blake at the point. Fisher cycles it back up the side over to Cusa. Oh my gosh. Almost caught the goaltender off guard. That'll make its way outside the zone. Cusa gathers it. Sends it back over to Fisher. Fisher gains the zone, holds it back, looks, cycles it back out to Blake at the point. Back over to Fisher. Fisher loses it back into the corner. Back out to Blake at the point. Over to Cusa. Try to send it opposite side over to Cusa. Excuse me, Fisher. Bruto back into the corner, picks it up. Looking, sends it out to the point to Blake. Cusa. Try to get a shot off. Scores! If I'm not mistaken, that is Braden Fisher's second goal of the day. Actually, no, I think that was Mr. Richard Wright. I didn't even see Mr. Richard slide in the picture there, so. So at the 13:23 mark, Team Philly's up 2-0. Stop, back over. Montgomery comes, sends it in. Justin shuffles it to the corner, back over to Bob. Bob sends it up the opposite wall, back over to Luca. Toe drag by Barthol, gets it outside the zone. Jake by himself. Comes back, looking for a little bit of help. Barthol kicks it back over. Jake just outside of his reach. Puck is still there. Picked up by Barthol. Back out to the point. Opposite side over to Tobin. Tobin looking. Sends it deep to the other side, picked up by the Devils, sent back out into the neutral zone. Wow, goaltender didn't really see that. back out. Deep, back over to Barthel. Barthel sends it back in, pick back up. Looking. Back out to Tobin. Sends it deep to the opposite side. Luca back out, kicks it out to the point. Bops keeps it in, sends it along the boards over to Luca. Luca sends it back over to Jake. Jake gets trapped in the corner, sent back out to Tobin. Tobin holds his own. Keeps it back over to Jake. Back over to Luca. Luca looking, sends it back out to the point. Bops does a good job soccer kicking it down. Back over to the opposite side. Sent deep. Devils get it. Give it back up to Lucas. Lucas tried to get it forwards, unable to do so. 11:46 left in the game, 2-0. Back over to Doherty, slides it over to Lucas. Lucas looking, slides it back. Thought he had Ben on the opposite side. Lucas picks it up, tries to send it up. Devils come away with it, make their way around. Good job by Justin. $11 left in the game. Lucas on the face-off, wins it back to the corner. Thies pulls it back, opposite side. Folds up, cycles it back over to Blake. Blake, back over to Doherty. Tips it forward. Good knockdown by Fisher. Fisher had it, shot attempt. Knocked down in front of the net. Lucas, pressure onto the puck. Runs it back. Over. Puck is floating out. Sent back into the neutral zone. The Devils. Doherty over with token pressure. Sent back. Thies comes away rolling. Back over to Doherty. Doherty across the blue line. Looking. Nice centering pass. Back over, attempt to get it into the slot. Bops sends it deep. Picked up by Bops. Bops tried to get a shot off. Goes off a defender. Picked back up by Fisher. Fisher out on the wing, looks opposite side. Back over to Tobin. Tobin makes a move around. Ooh, gets a shot off and goes off the crossbar. Wrong side of the crossbar. Braden on this face-off, picked up by Cusa, sent back over to the corner. Clear the zone, picked up by Bops, between the legs from Prudo. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher looking. .22 left. Back out to the point. Bops sends it back over to the wing to Prudo. Prudo tried to make his way between a couple defenders. Sent back out again to the point. Cusa. Tobin keeps it active in the zone. Just outside of Cusa's reach. All the way on the other side. Back out. Bops, good job of keeping it in the zone. Cusa pressure, back into the slot. Prudo had it on the stick, centering pass. Back over. Montgomery Devils come across, back out. Justin slides over, kick save, puts a glove on it. .841 left in the game, 2-0. Nichols, back over to Blake. Blake tries to tip it forward. Nichols back in, checks, back over to Blake. Try to clear his zone, back over to Nichols. Gets it back up, just outside the reach of Lucas. That'll be an icing call. Pressure. Gets dragged down. And Justin with a nice glove save. Back out to the point. Off the side of the net. Justin didn't see it till last second. Kick back up. Lucas in a foot race. Lucas tries to draw a defender off the puck. Back into the corner. Back out to the point. Nichols gets it, centers it back over to Ricky. Back along the boards. Lucas jumps his stick. Zimmerman over to put pressure onto the puck. Doubles, Camare, opposite side. Tip. No icing call. Back over to Thies. Thies cycles it back over to Ricky. Ricky sends it back the opposite side, off the back side of the net. Back over to Lucas. Lucas cycles it back over to Nichols. Opposite side over to Ricky. Ricky into the neutral zone. Devils pick it up. Devils all by himself. Picked up on the other side by Thies. Thies picked back over to Luca. Luca couldn't control. Now it's back out of the zone. Knocked away. Goaltender gloves it, knocks it down, drops it for his winger. Back into the corner, Luca. Looking for somebody. Kicks it clean, centers it past. Nice glove save by the goaltender. Good shot attempt by Barthel. All right, so Montgomery calls a timeout at the 6:27 mark. All right, so 6:27 left in the game. Montgomery chose to call a timeout. Team Philly up 2-0. Out on the ice, Bops, Thies, Barthel, Sofrugio, Heston. Puck's down, back over to the corner. Devils look to come away with it. Try to send it back up. Luca interrogating. Back out on the wing, sent back out in the neutral zone. Thies back over to recover, delayed offside, sent deep. Luca on the opposite side to pick it up. Unable to get there, now picked up by Bops. Bops drops it into the opposite side corner. Zone cleared. Send it back out. Cycles over. Barthel's there, sends it back. Picked up by Bops into the neutral zone. Thies try to clear the zone, now does. Devils come across. Send it in, wait for the zone to clear, picked up by Bops. Bops cycles it over to the other side to Thies. Thies gets it up the boards. Devils have to wait to clear. Send it over to the opposite side over to Bops. Lucas lets it drop over. Doherty sends it over to Lucas. Lucas slides back. Drops it in. Back over in the corner. Fisher back over to help him out. Lucas loses it off his stick. Back over along the boards. Fisher check into the boards. Devils try to clear the zone. Lucas drops it back out. Picks back up. Sent back over. Ricky's there. Keeps it in. Fisher drops it forward. Lucas makes his way around the player. Sends it high and over the goaltender's head. Devils. Back over to Doherty. Doherty looking. Try the centering pass. Intercepted. Back over to Tobin. Tobin tried to dump it in. Now does. 4:10 left in this game. Doherty, token pressure back in their offensive zone. Devils look to get it out of the zone, unable to do that. Devils send it opposite side, just outside of Braden's reach. Tobin's there. Tobin picks it up, looks, sends it back over to Peruto. Peruto gives it up to Fisher. Fisher comes across the blue line, back over to Cusa. Try to bounce it back over to him. Devils pick it up, centering pass, makes its way out to the neutral zone. Ricky's there, sends it back up. Cusa, pressure. Devils come out. Fisher reaches for it. It's outside. Devils cross the blue line. Pop it back. Shot attempt goes wide. Justin, stick steer back into the corner. Pick back up right out front of the net. Over to Peruto. Peruto gets it forward back over to Cusa. Cusa holds it. Waits for Peruto. Peruto gets by a man. Gets a shot off, but it goes wide. Devils look to set something up, pull it back behind the net, hold up, looking for somebody. Send it out in the neutral zone. Blake is there. Centering pass. Gets knocked down into the corner. Nichols puts a hand on it. Back over to Peruto outside the zone. Now it's kicked back into the neutral zone. Devils send it deep. 2:19 left in the game. Picked up by Thies. Thies drags around the opposite side. Picked up by Blake. Blake back into the neutral zone. Oh! Thies was trying to read that. Thies, pressure. Good back check. Back out to the point. Lucas holds the man. The guy gets shot off. Justin cradles it. 1:56 left in the game. Montgomery's pulling the goaltender. Actually pulling him now. So 6 men on the ice for skaters on the ice for Montgomery. Empty net. Back out to the point. Back behind the net. Back over. Opposite side. Tobin loses his stick. Lucas is over there. Sent around the opposite side. Justin with a knockdown. Center. Opposite side. Justin with a good save. Pick back up. Tobin doing a good job without his stick. Tobin hustles. Gets it. 1:22 left in the game. Sent around the opposite side. Pick back up. That's all the way down. That'll be an icing call. Minute 5. 2-0 Team Philadelphia. Empty net for the Devils. Heston, DeFruzio, Barthel. Bobst. Back out to the point. Sent deep out to the wing. Ricky puts a knee down, waits. Center point. Back over. Opposite side comes out of the zone. Devils have to clear. Wait to the other side. Clear. Come across the blue line. Send over to the opposite side. 38 seconds. Back along the wing. Shuffled around. Opposite side. Pick back up in the corner. Devils back out to the point. Luca's there. It's not enough to be called an icing. I don't know how Justin made that save. He was laying on his rear end. Back over. Swipe forward. Back over. So that's the end of the game. So Team Philadelphia, 2 wins today, come away with a 2-0 victory against the Montgomery Devils. So overall, a good day. Those would be the last games of the weekend. Next game is going to be next Saturday against Toms River. Be a later game. I think it's like a 4 o'clock game. So everybody stay tuned for that. Thanks for joining.